Good evening, Drew.
Oh, 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 boy. Okay, I made it. Oh,
A rough night?
oh, Paul.
Are you recording?
I am recording. Yes.
Okay,
I'm recording.
there we go.
Yeah, no, everything is good. Nothing is broke. I haven't looked at the doc all day, so we should probably fix that real quick. Hang on. Docs.google. Okay.
There's not much in there, which means we'll probably have plenty to talk about.
Let's see. Yeah, we didn't have a lot in there last time. Okay, well, okay, so you already got a topic in there. All right, sorry,
Yeah,
I just got out of the shower and I'm like super hot and super out of breath. Okay. All right, so check it out. Because I am a psychopath, I was looking at my computer the other day and I decided that I was unhappy with how it was performing. Listen, I invested a lot of money and a lot of time into making my computer a custom liquid-cooled masterpiece, right? And I've gone through, I think, 3 iterations of redoing it and making it work, and then I had the whole thing where the one processor died. Like, it's been an adventure, I think is the best way to say it. And one thing I've been noticing now that the weather has been getting warmer is that when I'm playing games or doing intense things on my computer, my temperatures have spiked quite a bit.
Okay.
And that's kind of a thing that happens with custom loops, is that they are very susceptible to ambient temperatures. So, like, if I play in February when the house is, like, 50 degrees and until the heat kicks on, versus now that it's summer and the ambient temperature in my house is like 70-ish degrees downstairs, like, it gets a little bit hotter. And, I was really thinking about this and trying to find ways to mitigate it, and I just decided that, you know what, I think it's time to really get in here and try to find better ways to use my computer, or cool my computer, I should say. So, what I did is I ordered some new fans, because with my computer, right?
Fans.
Fans. Yeah. Well,
Fans.
I mean,
isn't that the opposite of what you're trying to do with the liquid cooled computer?
No, Paul.
Okay.
Paul.
No. Okay.
Oh, Paul, you ignorant slut. Listen, no, it's you have you have radiators and you have heat.
Right.
Well, the fans help you get rid of the heat. Like, you just can't have radiators. Like, it's not completely passive. Like, you gotta have, like, the heat, the warm liquid goes into the radiator, and a fan blows cool air across the fins of the radiator to remove the heat. Like, that's how it works. But the fans that I were using weren't the best fans for the job. I'm strictly convinced of that, because they were like these cool Corsair LED fans that I really like the look of, but they probably weren't the best for the job. And this is a classic case of form over function, right? Like, I was more concerned about my aesthetic and I was less concerned about performance, and I think that was my ultimate undoing here. So I ordered some fans that are specifically designed to move air with more pressure. So real quick.
Okay.
When you're buying computer case fans, there are 2 types of fans you can buy. You can buy what are called high airflow fans, and these are typically fans that you would put on the side of a case to either pull air in or push air out of your case, right?
Okay.
You also have what are called high static pressure fans, which is like almost the complete opposite of the high airflow fan. Like, the high airflow fan is designed to spin a little lower and a little slower, but have bigger blades and they push air further, okay? The high static pressure fans spin faster, have more smaller blades, and are designed to push a greater volume of air a shorter distance. So if you have a fan right up against something like, say, a radiator, you want to make sure that you have enough pressure to push the air all the way through the radiator. Now, on my last build, I have 2 radiators in my case. The radiator in the bottom of my case is thicker than the radiator on the top of my case. So, like, the fans that I was using before had absolutely no problem pushing air through that top radiator. Now, I didn't feel a lot of airflow going through it, but I never felt hot air coming out of the top of my case, which might have been part of the problem. Before, though, I had fans on the top pushing air out of the top of my case, and I had fans on the top of the radiator on the bottom of the case pushing air down through the case. So enthusiasts, such as myself, consider that to be what we call a negative pressure system, meaning that all of the air in the case is constantly being moved out. And like you basically, by pushing the air out of the top and the bottom, air has to come in from somewhere, and then you get air coming across there. But I don't think it was really working that well. So what I did here now is on the top of my case, I have the fans pushing air out of the top of the case, and I put the fans underneath the radiator on the bottom of my case, sucking air in and pushing it through the radiator into my case. So that way I have air, like positive pressure, going from the bottom of my case up, following the natural laws of convection, because I'm a goddamn scientist. And so long story short, so I basically had this bright idea yesterday. So after work today, I emptied all of the liquid out of my computer, which seems like a crazy sentence that I have to say out loud. But honestly, that's the hardest goddamn part of this whole mess, because liquid just likes to not go where you want it to go. And when you don't want it to go over certain pieces of your computer, like that's exactly where it wants to go. So like getting all the liquid out of the old part of my system is always an adventure. But I did it. We did it. We survived. And then I put everything back together. I actually have a mix of hard tubes and soft tubes in this new build. So if you're looking at the front of my case, it looks way cleaner. And because I changed the fan types and I don't care about LEDs or RGB anymore, there's way less wires in the front of my case, so it looks cleaner. And I'm using white coolant, which just looks chef's kiss. And then I have a new reservoir pump combo thing that is currently rainbow RGB because I haven't programmed it yet. And everything works. Like I booted it back up and everything turned back on, and that's like a victory. So now I just need to watch it for leaks, which I did have one leak when I first did my leak testing, so I fixed that just because I didn't use enough torque on one of the fittings, and now everything is fine. Nothing is wrong. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, I don't have to tear my computer apart every other week, so I've got that going for me. So yeah, it's good. Good. I had a nice
all right.
long weekend.
All right. Well, let's dive right into this. So did you finish the game?
I did.
Okay.
It took me I think about 28 hours. I finished it Monday afternoon. For those of you just joining us, I'm referring to The Last of Us Part 2. I had taken some time off around my birthday to play that game. And that was an experience.
Okay. So give me your one sentence review.
A one sentence review. It's good. It's good, but it's good, but it's difficult. It is not. This is going to be longer than one sentence because it's so hard to explain. This is not a feel good, happy ending. You enjoy what you are experiencing video game. Like no, that is not like this. I feel that this game is designed for you to feel conflicted about the characters, maybe hate the characters that you're controlling and doing the actions of. It is a difficult game, and I can see why it's so polarizing in the reviews and the media and just people, because it is just like, it's a good game, but you will not you don't enjoy playing this game. Like it's rough at times.
Huh.
Oh, and Drew, the dogs. Oh.
All right.
The dogs.
So I am probably never going to play this game, but I did. Yeah. I did sort of like spoil it for myself, and I read about some of the things you go through in the game and sort of the big reveal, if as it were. Yeah. And I read about the dogs. We're not going to talk about it, but I think I know what happens. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, the game also does like a little tricky, like, because how it kind of starts, you have a pretty, like, you feel pretty confident you know who the villain is. And then it's like, oh, no, that's not who the villain is at all. Yeah. And there was a water section that still has me a little troubled because
Oh,
I don't
really?
like water. Oh yeah, it was.
Oh, right,
It
right.
was. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of water, and it was like literally all of my worst fears compressed into like 15 minutes, and whew. But it's fun. The gameplay is really good. It got repetitive a little times. I got really bored of like, oh, this door's locked. I bet you if I look up, there'll be some hole I can crawl into and get through. That happens a lot. There's some really fun little details in some of the environments. Like, you go through this house and you see an abandoned like Dungeons and Dragons session. You see, this one place where someone was painting Warhammer minis.
Huh.
Just cute little things. It's so violent. Like,
I have heard.
a level of gruesomeness and violence. It doesn't stop. It's almost at the point where like, I could stealth kill this guy again. Do I really want to watch that animation one more time? So you kind of turn the camera so you can't see it and
It's that bad.
hit the
huh?
button and it's
Unsettling, huh? Okay.
It is. It's really violent, but like, they're going like that is what they're going for. Like, the themes are, like hatred and the lengths people go to for revenge and, how that consumes everything. And, and they really, they hit that theme out of the park. Woo!
Huh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's intense. And, it's a lot of moments. It surprised me. I had it in my head. I had a kind of figured out like, well, I think this is how this is going to go. And then,
That's not how it went.
Not how it went. And Naughty Dog does that thing that they do for every game where, they basically lie to you in the trailers, and you think I would learn that by now. Yeah, but that's what they do. They're like, oh, you think this is happening then, and this person's there, and this person's still alive, and like, no, all those things are lies.
It's not how that works.
And that's not how that works. And but yeah, it's
But you enjoyed yourself.
I did enjoy myself, even though it was very intense and like hard to play through, but not because it was a bad game, because it's just so freaking intense. Like, I could really only do like 7-8 hours a day before my brain was just like, I gotta watch something just ridiculous and silly. and
That makes sense.
turn on some It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia instead of watching the bad girl hurt people.
All right, so let's just get into it, man. So, was it better than the first one?
I mean, gameplay, graphics, like unequivocally yes. Like, just the march of technology, the stuff that Naughty Dog's able to do now that they weren't able to do for the original one. The story, I have mixed feelings. I mean, I guess story is allowed to be super biased, right? Like, The Last of Us hit me at a time where like it was just a special game for me in a special moment. I don't think anything's going to replace that. So I'm going to give a nod to story to the first one. But like, man, like it was really good. Like that game studio should feel proud. Like they really tried to achieve something and they did it. And like, it is not for everybody. Like, I get the people that play the game are like, nope, this is not for me. Like, I get that 100%, and I don't hold anyone like, unless oh, there's a strong woman in it and one of the women's gay. And like, if that's what you think, you can go, take a hike. But
yeah. Like, I mean, gamer's gonna gamer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Well, was it, I mean, obviously you enjoyed yourself, you had good time off, and I think that's kind of the most important part of this whole thing, right?
Yeah, it was good. I did enjoy myself.
Okay. Well, I think that's the most important part. Okay. I mean, that's kind of all I wanted to hear about, right? Like, I'm just happy that you did the thing. You played the game and you took time off and you enjoyed yourself. Like that's important to me.
Yeah, it was nice. I enjoyed myself. The family give me plenty of space to take the time and play the game, and it was a good weekend all around. Now I'm kind of lost. I'm trying to figure out what game to play because I'd put so much like The Last of Us Part 2 is the next thing I'm playing.
Yeah,
and,
So
I'm trying to look for the next thing. So I don't know what that is yet.
Well, I mean, have you been playing more Elder Scrolls at all, or?
A little bit. Not as much as, not like the many hours a day I was putting in before. But I'm looking for the next thing with like a big story or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Elder Scrolls is junk food, right? It's like how I keep going back to Diablo over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes I don't want to think. I just want to run around and kill things and get better loot and then kill bigger things or kill the same things faster and feel like I'm making some sort of progress where I'm really just putting coins into a vending machine over and over again. But yeah. Oh, I mean, and Cyberpunk got delayed again.
Yeah, I saw that. That stinks.
I
mean,
yeah.
From what I understand,
it's
done. It's done, right? But like they're basically
they're just polishing and bug fixes.
They're polishing, bug fixing, and like playing through it and like trying to find ways that it won't be broken for people.
Yeah,
which I can appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, a game that complicated and that many moving parts and systems, and like I imagine it have the QA on that game would have to be nuts.
Oh, but, God, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a game developer. Well, first of all, I don't have any artistic talent or the ability to do math. So
yeah, I mean, same.
Advanced math, geometry,
same.
right? Yeah, none.
Yeah, the things you need to make games, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get you. I totally get you. Well, okay. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm glad that you had a good time off. I'm glad that you played the games. You're back at work. Everything's good.
I am. Yeah. Everything's good.
Everything is good. Nothing is wrong. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, that's like I think our two big updates. What do you say we talk about the other big piece of news that happened while you were out?
The Apple announcements? Question mark?
Yeah. Boy, things are happening, huh?
Things are happening. Man, I have never been I mean, God, there's so many big announcements.
There's really a lot of things to digest here. So how do you want to break this down? Where do you want to start?
I mean, I think I want to talk about our Macs and what that means.
Yeah. So for those of you that are newer to the show or maybe don't remember, Paul, I don't know, 4 months ago now, bought a new 16-inch iMac Pro, right?
And I don't regret that purchase 1 second.
And I don't think you should.
No. Oh, but
it seems like Apple is now going to basically give middle fingers to Intel and is going to start making their own custom chips, which if you follow Mac and Apple stuff at all, you'll know that this is a thing that has been kind of teased and talked about for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Like this should surprise nobody.
It should surprise nobody. But while it shouldn't surprise anybody, it's a little bit alarming where if you're kind of in the Mac ecosystem like you and I are, that has a lot of ramifications. It means that we have to think about what the future of Mac OS is going to look like. And it's it's going to be interesting because just like, when we went through this last time, when they moved off of the PowerPC platform and went back to Intel, there was like this couple weird OSs where it supported the new and the old, and Rosetta would crash on you all the time, and that was the way of life back then. And for those of you that aren't Mac users, like back when they transitioned off, they had a software layer called Rosetta that was responsible for, and how clever is this naming convention, translated stuff from Intel from PowerPC compiled applications to Mac or to Intel x86 architecture. Basically, it just lived on top and did that. And it wasn't like a huge performance hit or anything, but it was just, it was just different. And now with Apple going back to this new, or not going back to, but going in a different direction now, they actually showed it at the Worldwide Developers Conference this year. That they are bringing Rosetta back, and Rosetta is going to be
Rosetta 2.
Yeah, Rosetta 2, Boogaloo, and they're going to basically have that emulation layer on top of this new hardware that is going to be able to translate x86. So everything should just work, air quotes. I mean, the jury's going to be out, right? Like we're going to see what happens. But here's the killer. And we'll talk about Big Sur here in a minute, but a time is going to come where you're sort of going to be forced to go to Apple's chips, because they will at some point kill off support for Rosetta 2. Now, that's not going to happen in a year, but it might happen in 5 years.
5 years I think would be a really good timeline for them to stop giving updates, besides maybe security updates, to Intel Macs. Which is I mean, it's weird. Like, I'm not as nervous about the transition as I thought I would be, especially now that I'm less and less technical. And or most of my stuff is like based off of, Unix dev tools and stuff. And I'm sure it'll be a really weird 6 months when these things first come out, and some of the tools will run and some of them will do weird stuff, and that'll be all sorted out. Though, if you're not doing anything too weird with, byte order and crap like that, a good old-fashioned recompile should get you most of the way there. And Rosetta 2 should handle, some of the little details. But, I mean, things like Boot Camp for running Windows is gone. Mm-hmm. Virtualization of x86 hardware is gone. Right? Like, if there's going to be virtual machines doing x86, it'll be emulation, and then therefore probably a lot slower. And if that comes at all, I mean, the virtualization stuff they did show was all, ARM Linux systems running. So that's going to change. And the other, this is the change that really gets me thinking is all iPhone and iPad apps will run natively on Apple Silicon Macs, which really makes me think, especially, we'll talk about Big Sur a little bit, but the design changes coming to Big Sur to me really feels like they're starting down the road of making the Mac more touch friendly. So if suddenly you have, I mean, let's face it, a ton more apps available for your platform that are all touch-based, well, suddenly a touchscreen Mac doesn't seem that far out of the question.
Nope. I still won't do it, because I think touching your screen with your phone
is wrong.
It's wrong. And everybody's like, I love touchscreen. I'm like, get over yourself. Nobody likes touchscreen. Look at your phone. Look at all the dirt and grime and filth on your phone. Imagine it on your monitor.
Though that is the number one complaint I have about my wife's Mac, is that she's very used to the Chromebook touchscreen where she can just go up and it's not a primary way of interfacing. She mostly uses it for scrolling on documents or web pages, because to be honest, her phone is her primary computing device. Same thing with my daughter. That whole touch the screen to move something thing is just so ingrained. And I get it, but for me, I have screens that you touch and screens that you don't touch.
Right.
And the screens that you don't touch, you better not touch them, or I will break your finger. But I mean, it's going to be a big change for the Mac all of a sudden, to be able to just like run your iPad apps natively. And
well, like before we totally dive into the Big Sur thing, right? Like, if you sort of look at the computing landscape these days, right? Like, Intel doesn't have the best reputation right now, and like AMD is taking a huge part of their market share, and like Apple's obviously sick of their shit, and they want to build computers with incredible battery life and also kick-ass performance for natively compiled app. And like, listen, ARM is great at that, right? Yeah. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to recompile your stuff, but like, big deal. Like, if you can give me a computer that has like an 18-hour battery life and still can like render videos or get my email or give me a terminal and lets me browse the web, which is where like 98% of my work is these days anyway, like, I don't care. Like, that's going to be amazing. And like, you don't need to look at Apple here, right? Like, there's plenty of other companies like mine that are constantly moving things to ARM platforms. So like, like this shouldn't be a big shocker. And like, people who throw up on this kind of stuff are the same people that, still want to click through GUIs and VMware to build things. And like, I don't understand that thinking. Like, this is a good step.
Yeah. And plus, like, Apple has spent, I mean, probably billions of dollars building, which is unarguably the best chip or best system, system on a chip, integrated chip, like, design shop in the world. Like, the A series processors that Apple uses in the iPad and the iPhone, like, they're 2 years ahead of the competition. Easy. Like, the last thing I read is like, if you go to the Apple store and you buy the cheapest iPhone SE, that processor is so much faster than the top of the line flagship most expensive Android phone you can get. And that's just because Apple has dumped, so much money and design and thoughtfulness into these chips. And it'd be stupid for them not to switch to that for their Macs. Like, A, they're going to get more return out of their investment, and B, they're just better. They're faster. The performance per watt is way, is much better than what Intel can do. I mean, I think Apple's on a 7 nanometer die process.
Mm-hmm.
Intel's
Intel's still on like 14 or 12 or something, right?
Yeah.
And that's like AMD ate their lunch because they made it to 7 nanometers. Like, that's what's in my computer. I'm looking at it right now, or I'm looking at the processor that's 7 nanometers, and it's a kick-ass processor. Yeah. Like, I mean, Intel, innovate, please. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. And you see, like, where did I see that? Basically, a former Intel engineer came in and said, like, the final nail in the coffin was like the Skylake set of chips, where the quality control on those things were so bad, and like Apple was like filing an insane number of issues with the instruction set and how the chip worked, and it's like, when one of your biggest customers is finding more bugs than you are.
Yeah, that's bad. It's very problematic. It's very problematic. And like,
I mean, it's not that Intel's going to go away either. Like, they still make lots of server chips, and like, it's going to suck for them as the number of chips that Apple buys is going down. But I mean, I'm sure like hobbyists probably buy more Intel chips than Apple does.
Well, I mean, that's just it, right? Like, Intel versus AMD is the new like Nintendo versus Sega at this point, and like, I kind of go to where the puck is going, not where the puck is. And like, I have brand loyalty to many things, like Apple's one of them, right? And like, when Intel makes the better chips, I'll go back to Intel. But right now, that's AMD. And you'll have these holdouts that'll say, well, it's better for gaming. And I'm like, well, no, not really. Not at the resolutions I play at. That's why I invested in a $1,500 graphic card. Like, it's just inane arguments that just get repeated over and over on Reddit, and it's tiring. Like, I'm really excited about this announcement. I think that it's going to be huge. I think, put it this way, if there's any company that can get this right, it's going to be Apple. Right? I wouldn't.
This is their like fourth chip transition, third major one, or third transition, second major one. I can't remember.
Like if IBM came out and said we're going to do this, and like if you buy a Lenovo, it's going to be ARM. You'd be like, well, what's Windows going to do, right? Like
exactly.
The fact that Apple has control, kind of soup to nuts over the whole process, makes this better, right? And and they're really smart, and they'll make it work.
Yeah, and they already showed, like during some of the demos, they showed that like, hey, we already have, the Adobe Creative Cloud suite running natively on ARM.
Yep.
Microsoft's already porting all their stuff to ARM.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, here's this, video game that hasn't been converted, still running at 60 frames a second and 1080p,
right.
Through Rosetta 2.
Right.
Like, that was just like, yeah, I mean, it's not, 120 frames a second. It's not 4K, but running through a translation layer, 60 frames at 100.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Right? And granted, those things don't have the best graphics cards ever. Now,
no.
I will say that I do have some concerns, and the concerns are strictly from my kind of viewpoint. And, like, look, I don't go to VMs very often, but given my role, occasionally I need a Windows VM. Now, I have a lab in my basement, but I like having, like, VirtualBox on my computer to emulate that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
That's going to interrupt my workflow if I ever need to do that, right? I mean, I guess I could spin up a VM in the cloud. Nothing against that. That costs money. But if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. Like that to me is the only thing I think that might upset my current workflow, is having to deal with something like that. But otherwise, I think everything about this is going to be just fine for me. I think it's going to be a huge win. I'm really excited for it. I will probably... So the question now for me is, when do I upgrade my MacBook Pro? Because I'm coming up on 2 years, I think. Maybe a year. I think my MacBook Pro might be coming up on like maybe a year and a half, 2 years old at this point. Because it's a 2018 model. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be coming up on 2 years old.
Yeah, it would have to be.
Yeah, because I bought it when I was still working with you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be due, but the question is, do I wait or not? Because they're gonna be selling both for a while.
Yeah, they are, and like the first, what they say, the first Apple silicone, which I first of all, I'm gonna take a step back. I truly believe they're using all this Apple silicone verbiage now. I firmly believe that is just placeholder text for whatever the marketing verbiage for these chips are going to be when they actually get announced.
Oh, totally, totally.
Come 6 months, no one will be saying Apple Silicone ever, or Silicon. I can't remember which is the right one. Ever again. Yeah. But too, like, they're going to start selling these computers by the end of the year, they said. So I'm kind of curious to see what they go after. Like, is it the MacBook Air? Do they have Pros? Do they have a Mac Mini? Like, is it that new, iMac that you keep seeing, the leaks about with the thinner bezels and stuff that looks more like the expensive monitor, the Apple Display XDR. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Like, depending on what they announce and like what those specs look like, and like more importantly, like what that battery life is, man. If like they go from like, a 6 to 8 hour battery to like 12, 14, even longer. Whew. Like,
yeah,
that's going to be really tempting. Yeah,
game done changed.
There may be a new laptop in my future, and this will be a hand me down to my wife. I mean, I love my 16-inch. It's good. It's reliable. It works well. The keyboard doesn't suck. I have an escape key. I love it.
Yeah,
but man, if I can get double, or even like 66% more battery or something, or 50%. I mean, that would be huge.
It would be enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm excited for the new hardware. I'm excited for the new chips. So now let's talk a little bit about Big Sur, right? And we talked a little bit about this. Man, they really went all chunky on these on this interface, huh?
Yeah, they sure did. So Big Sur is the next version of Mac OS officially.
Mac OS 12?
11.
11.
11. This one goes to 11. Yeah. We can make a Spinal Tap joke.
Yep.
But yeah, man, they did
not mess around.
I really like the look of it.
I do too.
I kind of like the big toolbars, the additional translucency. Mm-hmm. I think it looks really, really cool. I like all the features that they're bringing over from, iPad OS and iOS, like Control Center and widgets and a messages app that actually has feature parity with the other ones.
Yep.
Yeah, I dig it. I really want to install the beta, but I use my Mac for work, so I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, but, I'm in the same boat. I would really like to do it, can't do it. I have to wait. I have to wait because my computer is I need it every day, and I can't. I don't know if the apps that are crucial to my workflow are functional or aren't going to break. Like I really can't risk that. So I have to wait.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, it looks good. I really want to play with it a bunch. What other big features are there? Let's see.
I mean, there's a bunch of little changes to some of like the apps, like you mentioned. Messaging is going to be big. That seems to be the big
center,
one. Notification
widgets.
center. Yeah, widgets is a big one. I think that's going to be cool. The other thing I'm really excited for is on the iPhone and iPad OS side of things, like widgets on the home screen now, or widgets in your menu. I think I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
but that's going to be pretty cool.
On the home screen. Yeah, and man, I keep hearing over and over again how reliable and not buggy and stable the iOS 14 beta is. And
you thinking about it?
I'm tempted. I'm thinking about it.
If I was gonna do anything, right? Because I'm on this 2-phone life, I could probably upgrade my regular phone to it. I don't think I can do it, right? Don't you need like a code or something or a developer license?
You have to have a developer account, or you have to wait till July for the public beta.
Maybe I'll wait till July.
Yeah,
that's not that far away. That's literally next week.
I have a developer account because I'm stupid. Basically.
Yeah.
And honestly, I may hold out for that as well, because usually, like, the first public beta is the second developer beta, and it's a lot more stable. So I may hold out to the second one. But man, I really want widgets on my home screen. I really want the app library. I do too. I want all of those things, and I want them right now. I want them now. My phone doesn't have them now, Drew. Like there's no widgets on my home screen.
I'm the same way, buddy. I want what you want. I want what you want.
Yeah. I want it now. So this will be the next. I mean, I guess we'll check in next episode. Did Paul install the beta on his iPhone? Oh. But
did they announce a day when we can get the new hardware?
They have not. The only thing they said, I've been kind of watching a lot of the videos and stuff on the Dub videos. They said they'll have Apple Silicon Macs by the end of the year.
Okay.
And the transition will take 2 years, which probably means like 2.5 years. And what do they mean by transition? Do they mean no more Intel Macs, or
right?
You have the option, or like they? I mean, who knows? But yeah. So I imagine the first laptop will come out, probably around the holidays, and that could be really, really interesting and really tempting. I mean, you can apply for the DTK, the Developer Transition Kit, where you pay Apple $500 to get a Mac Mini with a A12 processor in it that you have to give back.
Thanks, Apple.
Yeah, I mean, this is what they did with the Intel transition as well.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And I think with the Intel transition, when you gave back the computer, they gave you it wasn't like the greatest Mac, but they gave you a Mac as kind of like, hey, thanks for doing all this stuff for us. I mean, maybe Apple will give you a credit on your on your next non-Intel based Mac, but I've heard kind of rumblings from on developer forums and Reddit that, man, when you agree to get that that developer transition kit. Like you have to agree to some pretty significant stuff, and basically it's like, you're not allowed to talk about it. So, yeah, and even if people did like Geekbench scores on it, like this is that developer kit is not going to be a Mac that ships like ever.
Yeah,
it's a weird prototype proof of concept. Like it doesn't even have Thunderbolt on the back, and it just has USB-C, USB-A, and HDMI.
But Paul, how can we tell if we hate it if we don't have numbers?
Yeah, because numbers defines how good a computer is.
Right. That's how it works.
Numbers.
Man.
That's how it works. Numbers. Bigger numbers are better.
Bigger numbers
Features
are
and
better.
Design be damned.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Ah, man, that's exciting. I'm so conflicted, man, because I really want to get a new Mac this year, but I just feel like I should wait.
So, if you had to buy one right now, what would you get?
Well, right now I would just get the 16-inch, right?
Okay, sticking with the big boy, not the 13.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I think I looked at it and like the 13. Can I get 32 gigs of RAM in that?
You can now, I think.
So if you get the 2 gigahertz quad core 13-inch boy, hold on.
I think those go up to 32. Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Just make sure you pick the processors that start at least 2 gigahertz.
Well,
otherwise you're getting the cheaper version. But yeah, you can take those up to
it's a Core i5. It's only a quad core though.
Yeah, you can go up to a quad core i7, and I'm sure it's just a quad core because of heat and thermals. But you can take that boy up to 32 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, but see, I could get the 6 core for about the same price in the 16-inch.
You could.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, like literally $400 more because I would put the 32 gigs of RAM in this one too. I don't know. I think I would still get the 16-inch. Honestly, I think that's where my heart is. I really do.
It's a wonderful machine. I'm touching mine right now.
Ah, so lucky.
That beautiful silver finish. Black is for plebs.
Oh boy. All right, man.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, did anything else exciting happen for your birthday?
No, not really. It was relatively uneventful. Like, the kids made me some presents. My wife bought me a 6-pound bag of gummy bears, because she knows me. But obviously, like, my gift this year was, the television in the sofa upstairs. So, there wasn't much there. And like, my son had his birthday yesterday.
Oh,
so he's now 14. Yep.
Okay. He's 14. Yep. He's 14 years young.
Yes.
What did he get for his birthday this year? I know what he got last year.
This year was mostly cash, and
smart boy.
That's
smart
just
boy.
what he wanted. And we ended up. We haven't like put anything together yet, or got it rearranged. But we ended up, since we moved to the big house, he's got a bigger bedroom. He's got room for a bigger bed. So we got him. He's upgrading from a twin size mattress to a full size mattress.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I have one more topic for you.
Okay.
Paul, what is your favorite board game?
Oh, crap. What is my favorite board game?
What is your favorite board game?
You can't just spring this on me. I love all of my children.
I feel like if you had one, I would have heard it by now.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, there's so many good games, Drew.
Like
how can I just pick one?
If you came over to my house and there was one game that I have that you would want to play, what would it be?
One game that you had that you would want to play, I would want to play.
Yeah.
What is that game?
Describe it.
Jeez. Concordia? I think that, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want to give that one another try. I think that was one of those games where, like, I think we only played it a couple of times, but every time that I every time that I play it, I'm like, I would like to play this again right now and try a different strategy.
That is a very good game. That's a very good game. Okay, so check this out. I just dropped a link in the chat.
Okay.
And
that's wow, 3D tiles? Holy crap. No, okay. So he dropped a link for the Terraforming Mars big box with 3D tiles.
All right.
Now, so I just want to point out, I've only played Terraforming Mars 3 times. I enjoyed the game, but man, I suck at it.
Yeah, well, I think I have yet to win a game of Terraforming Mars as well. But so, Terraforming Mars, for those of you that don't follow board games the way Paul and I follow board games, is a phenomenally good game.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's card driven. There's different ways to earn points, and what it is you and up to 4 other people are trying to terraform Mars over a series of generations. And it's a card, like I said, it's a card-driven game, but there's a hex board where you can put down cities and forests and oceans as the game goes on, and you get points for putting things on the board. You get points for the cards that you play. There's a couple different strategies you can use to win, but there have been, I think, 6 expansions for Terraforming Mars, and Terraforming Mars is definitely in my top 5 games that I've played and own. I know that it gets frequent, like it is probably the game that gets played the most at my house when I have people over. It is a game that I think everybody that has played it enjoys. People have requested that we play it. It's usually pretty fierce competition between the people who play it.
Except for me, I suck.
Well, I'm usually a non-factor. I usually start out pretty strong and I taper. But we've even played the digital version of this. Like it is a good game that people enjoy. Now, I have invested in the Broken Token Organizer for this game, but that was released like 4 expansions ago, so like it's really hard to fit everything in the box, right? Yeah. So what the Fricks Games or whatever they are, the people that publish this have decided, or Stronghold publishes it. Fricks developed. Yeah, Stronghold has decided with the support of Fricks Games is that they are going to release a big box version of this game. And the big box version of the game will come with every expansion and a few special promos. But the cool thing that it's going to have is that the tiles, which in the regular game are cardboard, are now going to be 3D kind of mold injected and colored. And I went down the route of trying to print the tiles, but man, it would have taken me I'm pretty sure that this game, which I won't get until March, will get here before I could finish printing all the tiles you need. It looks amazing. The fact that it's all going to be in one box with an organizer is like a big plus for me. If you don't own Terraforming Mars, and plus the other thing is too, my game has been played so much that the cards are starting to look a little worse for the wear. So having
you didn't sleeve them, did you?
No, I didn't. They wouldn't fit in the box if I did. So what am I? I am excited to get this just because it will help me refresh everything. And yeah, I think you can back the project. Let's see here. I think if you want a copy of the game,
it's $100 for the big box, I think.
Let's see here, $79. You get Terraforming Mars. Yeah, $99 or more. I think I pledged at the
144.
Yeah, I think I did the 144 boy. 1 copy of Terraforming Mars big box, including all the milestones. Yeah. So that plus shipping.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Yeah.
100% worth it. Not even a thing. Not even a thing. So, yeah, I'm really excited for that. Anyway, that was something that kind of came out as well. I want to draw your attention to in case you were looking for more ways to spend money.
I'm tempted. I have 7 days to decide. This is going to go into the old queue for me to ponder for the next few days.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. I'm all talked out. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
There was a flurry of activity to get this computer running before we had to record. So I'm sort of much spent. So let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up. Okay. As always, you can reach us on the internet at doingtheirbest.com or on Twitter at doingbestpod. You can reach me at Paul Baylor. That's BAHLER on the Twitters. And where can we find you, Drew?
I'm on Twitter at Pitfurg, PITTFURG, and occasionally on Twitch at PITTFURG as well. Mm-hmm. So
sinking ships and dodging torpedoes.
That's man. I need to play that game some more. It's so fun. All right. See you, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.